Xanathar. This thing is hard to hold with one hand. Let's see if it's worth the money. Xanathar from Dungeons and Dragons. When this was originally announced, this thing was $50, and I am not a fan of the Dungeons and Dragons brand, neither the movie or the role-playing game. So I was completely like, absolute pass. But this is actually down to $20 as of this recording on Hasbro Pulse. I was like, you know what? It's a cool looking monster with some, looks like it has some decent articulation. I'm not sure. So for $20, why not give it a shot? Definitely not worth the $40 or $50 that originally was posted for, but for $20, you know what? I'll take it home and give it a shot. So let's check out the box and see if it's better than your mom's. This box better than the box he was held in. On the front, we have this cool artwork of Xanathar, a goldfish or koi, which I'm not sure what the significance is, and a decent looking background. I really like the artwork here. And I like the boxes for this line because they give you the 20 side die feel with the edges curved off. Nothing on this side. A beholder crime lord who leads a guild. I'm just going to hold it there so you guys can read it. Oh, that explains everything. The beholder crime lord. So apparently Xanathar is the crime lord. He cares only for gold and his fish Stigler. So that's who's the goldfish. So that's Xanathar and his goldfish Stigler. I guess that means something to either role players or whatever. So this thing is 10 inches wide, 7.5 inches tall, and it looks like it's supposed to have some decent articulation. Nothing on the back, just a render of the toy on the back. Same thing on. Now, this thing has one picture, 2 renders, and then that's it. Normally, I would bust their chops because that seems super lazy, but I do give them credit because of the creativity of having at least that side to make it look like one of the 20 side die that people use in role-playing game. So kudos to them for that, even though I'm not a fan of the actual box itself. I do like the creativity. There is a lot of creativity in the outline of the box itself. So you have this cool looking gold outline that goes around the box. And yeah, not the greatest box, but I have seen much worse from Hasbro, so kudos to them. Next thing on the agenda, let's find out what's in the box. We have boxes inside of boxes. Give me a second to put this thing together and then we can have a conversation. But there's a box inside of a box. There's a box with Xanathar and then a bunch of paper to cover Xanathar and Stigler and the stand. So one more second. And here we have the completed Xanathar and Stigler. So what comes in the box is 2 bags that have the sets of arms, one set for the left side, one set for the right side, and then we have Stigler in a bag. Then we have a box for the head of Xanathar and his, I guess, his horde underneath him, which is used doubles as a stand. Would you have got shot for this? I guess maybe. When it comes to accessories, there are no accessories. You have this cool stand. I wish the stand helped him float a little bit better rather than he's just basically sitting on the floor. And they kind of made that a stand so that way you have ability to open his mouth and move his eyes. But other than that, not much in it. Mills definitely would have shot him in the head. But this does look cool. But that's more of a design thing. But you didn't get any accessories. So definitely would have died. Let's get into design and see how this thing holds up. The design on this is actually pretty cool. We're not even going to consider Stigler. Stigler is just a fishbowl, but let's move out the way, Stigler. So we have, if you look at the monster, has some really cool design on not articulation. The design on the teeth are really good. The paint is bad because, as you can see, and maybe you're not going to see it on the camera, but there is globs of pink on the side of the teeth. And I guess you could say, hey, he ate something in his blood, but Nope, that's just missing paint. The mouth is all pink, and they were supposed to paint the teeth white, and they missed spots in the mouth. Only that spot. That's not that bad. It's small QC. Awesome design on the tongue. Looks awesome. And outside of that, you just get some really good design on everything. You see the spikes on his head. The eye looks really good. And it's probably not shining through. So let's turn it to the side. Yeah, it's not going to show through very well, unfortunately. But the eye looks really good. Lip ring, the texture on the bottom of the body looks phenomenal. And then the detail on his eyes, tendrils look really good. Some details on the top of the head. Now I wish that this thing had a wash across it, especially like in the ridges. I wish it had like maybe a darker brown, maybe some black, most likely a brown in the ridges to make it pop a little bit more. Maybe that's something I will do just to make it stand out a little bit more. And especially in the face, it just looks like yellow plastic with blue on top. Yeah, the design is decent, especially I love the detail they did for his mouth, and I guess he's just a mouth and eye, so really good detail on the eye, really good detail on the mouth. The rest of the toy could have been a little bit better. Like it's mostly just like the finer details. The toy itself is just fine, but I really wish it had a wash. Just even on the gold, I wish it was a wash. It would have made it stand out, made it pop a little bit more. But anyway, let's see if this thing can squat.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4
and the short answer is absolutely not. This thing cannot squat if its life depended on it. But that's fine because this thing doesn't have legs, doesn't have arms. It is just a big head and an eye. So the main attraction for this thing, of course, is this jaw, which opens and we get this awesome looking mouth on the inside. But then the next thing is the eye, which can look up, down. It can move side to side, and you can turn it left and right. Left and right. So that is super cool. That's awesome articulation. Then the tendrils do move. You can't move them as much as I would like. You can move them up and down. And if you get them in the right angle, you can move them in and out. But you have to be careful because they want to pop out of these sockets. So I'm pretty sure you're probably just better off moving left to right, and then if you find the right angle, then you can move them in and out. So as you can see, if you find the right spot, then they do move in and out on the balls.
That's what she said.
Other than that, not much articulation. I do appreciate the articulation in the mouth and the eye. That makes it super cool. I'm not sure if I'm outside of getting it into a specific position. I don't think the eyes are going to be used as a hand for anything. They're just going to basically look at something and that's it. And yeah, no, I really do like the way they handled the eye. And I'm not sure if I'll be able to get an angle in it, but there is a switch in here that you can move his eye up, left and right, move it back and forward. So you can look up, down, to the left and right. So that's actually super cool. That's actually super smart. I know they didn't use the same technology for the Ant-Man HasLab, the Giant Man HasLab, but this is a cool little solution to kind of how you control the eyes. Anyway, let's get into the price. Let's see the money on this thing. Now, originally this thing was oh my god, don't fall. You're gonna fall, aren't you? You're gonna fall. Yeah. Originally this thing was $40 or $50. Let me double check. Yeah, originally this thing was $42. $42 was the original price on this thing, and for $42, absolutely way too much money. And I'm not saying that because the toy is not decent, but it doesn't do anything. It's basically a statue, and most people don't go to Hasbro for a statue. It's super cool looking. It needs a wash, but for $42, definitely not something that I would have picked up, especially for the movie or the game itself. I'm not sure if there was many fans, and the fact that it's half price on Hasbro Pulse right now means that many fans didn't pick this up. I picked it up because it looks like a cool monster. There's some McFarlane toys that has some really cool monsters, and I think just basically nightmare fuel for some of my superheroes to fight. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Do you think this thing is worth 20 bucks? Because I think, you know, for $20, you add a wash, you can kind of make it pop itself instead of it being just a little bland. I do love the articulation in the eyes. I do love the way the mouth and jaw opens, but $20 is worth it. $42, absolutely, they lost their mind. So that's it for me, guys. I'll catch you in the next vid. Pigface McGee out.